A few months ago, the Dallas Mavericks looked completely cooked. They made a trade that mortgaged their entire future. The fan base was losing their minds. And then Kyrie Irving went down with a season-ending ACL injury. What was supposed to be a playoff run turned into a straight-up disaster. Then somehow, through either dumb luck or some galaxy brain move by the front office,
second pick will be made by
the Mavericks landed Cooper Flagg, an 18-year-old who already looks like he could be the next franchise cornerstone. So where does that leave them? Their most skilled playmaker is a teenager who still needs time to develop. Their best player can't stay healthy, and the rest of the roster looks like it was built for defense first, with a front court that's loaded and a back court that's not. And the Mavericks aren't tanking, they aren't rebuilding, they're testing a theory that could either make them look like geniuses or turn them into one of the biggest what-ifs in NBA history. For over 6 years, Luka Doncic was the Dallas Mavericks offense. Since his rookie year, when he finished 11th in usage rate, he ended up either first or second every single season after that. The Mavs went 31-44 without him during that stretch. Unwatchable basketball when he sat. You see why they leaned on him so hard. Luka's game is pure magic. The step backs, the no-look passes, the way he manipulates defenses like he's playing a completely different sport. The numbers back it up. 30-point nights turned into 40s, 50s, 60s, and eventually 73. The triple-doubles became routine. But on February 2nd, 2025, the Luka era in Dallas officially ended. The Mavericks shocked everyone and traded Luka to the Lakers for Anthony Davis, Max Christie, and a single first-round pick. One pick. That's it. The reaction was immediate. What the hell are they doing? Why give up a generational talent for what looks like spare parts? Mavs GM Nico Harrison had an answer. He told ESPN, "I believe defense wins championships. Getting an all-defensive center and an all-NBA player with a defensive mindset gives us a better chance. We're built to win now and in the future." That's a bold statement when you're talking about trading away a guy who just 2 seasons ago averaged nearly 34 points, 9 boards, and 10 assists.
Doncic maneuvers for the lead. Got it! What a shot!
A guy who became the first player in NBA history to lead the postseason in points, rebounds, assists, and steals. A guy who led the entire league in total minutes played. But Harrison and the front office decided the Luka-centric model wasn't sustainable. Too heliocentric, too dependent, and honestly, too predictable. The criticism wasn't coming from nowhere either. Luka's heliocentric approach forced everyone on the roster to play his way. His career usage rate of 35.4% is one of the highest in NBA history. When one guy controls that much of the offense, it can actually make the rest of the team worse. Teammates turn into spectators, the offense becomes predictable. Then there's the defense, or lack thereof. Luka's effort on that end has been a running joke around the league for years. Add in the whispers about his conditioning, his commitment, and some behind-the-scenes tension with team personnel, and you start to understand how the front office justified such a drastic move. When Harrison said, "Defense wins championships," after the deal, he meant it. By bringing in Anthony Davis, Dallas was done with its offense first, Luka-centric approach. The new blueprint, defense, versatility, and shared responsibility. Then everything went sideways. Anthony Davis got injured in his first game as a Maverick. Kyrie Irving tore his ACL and was shut down for the season. A few other guys went down too, and the Mavs completely cratered, finishing 14-21 and missing the playoffs. Fans were furious. Trading Luka was already risky. But now it looked like Harrison had torpedoed the franchise. The season was a disaster, and there wasn't much hope left. Then the impossible happened. The Mavericks won the NBA draft lottery with just a 1.8% chance at the top pick. They took Cooper Flagg out of Duke with the number 1 overall selection.
The Dallas Mavericks select Cooper Flagg from Duke University.
Dallas is now caught between two worlds, trying to win immediately with Anthony Davis and Kyrie Irving, while also building around an 18-year-old who could become their next superstar. Drafting Cooper Flagg gave the Mavericks a new franchise centerpiece, but it created a weird situation. The team's stuck between rebuilding for the future and trying to compete right now with an aging core. Add Kyrie's injury to that, and everything gets more complicated. Kyrie's recovery is progressing. He's back to shooting off the dribble and looks focused on returning stronger. But ACL injuries take time, usually 9 to 12 months, which means no return until sometime in 2026. Even then, expecting him to come back mid-season and play like prime Kyrie is unrealistic. He's 33, a smaller guard with a long history of lower body injuries. Getting back on the floor will be a grind. When he does return, we're probably looking at around 70 to 90% of what he used to be, at best. With Kyrie out for most of the year, Dallas basically doesn't have a true starting point guard. So that's forced them to get creative, signing D'Angelo Russell on a 2-year deal and even experimenting with Cooper Flagg running the offense. Whether it was luck or some 4D chess from Nico Harrison, the Mavericks landed the number 1 pick for the first time in franchise history and used it on Duke forward Cooper Flagg, the most hyped American prospect in years. At Duke, Flagg looked like he was playing against high schoolers, while everyone else was in college. Even as one of the youngest players in college basketball, he averaged 19 points, 7 rebounds, and 4 assists per game while being a defensive menace. He hit jumpers, dunked on people, ran the offense, and guarded the other team's best players. With Luka gone, Flagg is clearly the new face of the franchise. But this season, he might also be their point guard. Right after drafting him, the Mavs handed Cooper the keys to the offense in the Summer League.
It's a little bit harder. Flagg on the lob, the flag bearer of a new generation in Dallas.
Even though he played strictly forward at Duke, his playmaking flashes were too good to ignore. Point Flagg actually looked pretty legit. In his first preseason game, Flagg ran the show as Dallas point guard and made it look natural. In just 14 minutes, all in the first half, he put up 10 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists, a block, hit 2 of his 3 threes, and didn't turn the ball over once. Not bad for a teenager playing out of position. Flagg might be listed at 6'8", but he plays even bigger and smarter. You can already see an NBA offense forming around him. He reads defenses like a veteran, makes the right play consistently, and has a natural feel that can't be taught. His passing, vision, and ball handling all stand out. Defensively, he's everywhere, contesting shots and switching across positions. It's early, but Point Flagg might not just be an experiment, it might be the future. That said, Flagg is still 18, and adjusting to NBA speed, length, and physicality is brutal for any rookie, especially one learning a brand new position. Playing guard in the league is a completely different challenge. There's a real chance that pushing him into a facilitator role too early could slow down parts of his development. But this isn't the first time we've seen a forward take on point guard duties. Guys like Ben Simmons and LeBron James paved that path with different results. But Flagg's handle, vision, and feel already look more natural than most expected. If he keeps adjusting at this pace, his rookie year could turn into something special. Point Flagg isn't a gimmick. With his versatility and offensive instincts, he might actually be one of the Mavericks' best options to run the point this season. So the Mavs have a rookie forward playing point guard? What about everyone else? That's where it gets even weirder. This roster is full of duplicate pieces and running thin on actual guard play. Predicting who plays where or for how long is nearly impossible. But one thing is clear, the core group has never been more defined. Anthony Davis at 6'10" is the defensive anchor, a walking insurance policy around the rim. Together with Derek Lively and Daniel Gafford, they form one of the most athletic and intimidating front court rotations in the league.
Exum. Gilgeous-Alexander, so slippery. Gafford.
They give Dallas a real identity, length, rim protection, and relentless rebounding. Then there's the collection of wings, Klay Thompson, PJ Washington, Najee Marshall, and Caleb Martin, all solid defenders, all versatile enough to guard multiple positions. Add Max Christie as a 3-and-D option off the bench, and Dallas looks more like a team built to lock you down than outscore you. It's not your typical NBA roster. It's a little weird, a little unbalanced, and that's what makes it interesting. The biggest thing heading into the season is the role confusion. Coach Jason Kidd will have a lot of tinkering to do early on to figure out what works. The Mavericks believe in this roster, but fans still have questions. Anthony Davis insists on playing power forward, not center. If he starts at the 4 and Cooper Flagg slides in at guard or shooting guard, then D'Angelo Russell likely runs the point with either Gafford or Lively at the center. That mix makes roles messy since so many players overlap in skill and position. An overload of talent isn't a bad problem to have, but it makes decisions tougher. Who starts, who sits, what lineups to use in key moments, and how to maximize everyone's strengths. With Kyrie Irving out until at least late in the season, the Mavericks brought in D'Angelo Russell. Other guards on the roster include Max Christie, Dante Exum, Jaden Hardy, Brandon Williams, and Dennis Smith Jr. That's not exactly a lineup built on playmaking. Using Cooper Flagg in the backcourt is more than creative, it might actually be necessary. But as talented as Flagg is, he's still 18 and needs reps before he can command an NBA offense.
It's a little bit harder. Flagg on the lob, the flag bearer of a new generation in Dallas.
For now, Dallas will mostly rely on D'Angelo Russell. Russell has bounced around Lakers, Nets, Timberwolves, and Warriors, but wherever he's gone, production hasn't been the problem. He's entering his 11th season with career averages of 17.3 points, 3.4 rebounds, and 5.7 assists per game on 43% shooting, 37% from three, and 80% from the line. The numbers don't scream all-star, but Dallas desperately needs that kind of offense from their backcourt. The issue is consistency. D'Angelo Russell can look incredible one night and nearly unplayable the next. That's the full D'Lo experience. On good days, he's smooth and efficient. On bad ones, he can sink the offense. With Kyrie out and only Dante Exum and rookie Cooper Flagg as real secondary ball handlers, Russell is the closest thing Dallas has to a steady lead guard. His existing chemistry with Anthony Davis could be crucial. The two showed flashes together during their short time with the Lakers, and the Mavs are hoping that connection carries over. If Russell can keep things stable, Dallas should be able to survive, maybe even thrive, until Kyrie returns. But if the inconsistency creeps back in, the Mavericks will need someone else to step up as a creator fast. This roster isn't loaded with playmakers in the backcourt. If things go south, they might have to lean on oversized wings to initiate the offense, which brings defensive upside, but also raises a problem.
Denny Avdia, back shoulder fade to DeAndre Ayton, cut by Avdia.
What happens when the offense stalls? Maybe that's the point though, unpredictability. The Dallas Mavericks might be the biggest question mark in the NBA as the 25-26 season approaches. Does their weird version of roster construction, combined with a massive stroke of draft lottery luck, actually work out? Or does the bottom completely fall out in the first full year after Harrison traded away Luka Doncic for Anthony Davis, while Kyrie Irving spends most of the season working his way back? All of these possibilities are in play, not just for this season, but for the 3 to 4 year window Harrison has publicly said he's targeting to bring Dallas back to a championship contention. And that window raises more questions. This roster is built around one star recovering from a torn ACL and another in Anthony Davis, who's elite but constantly banged up. Meanwhile, their new cornerstone, Cooper Flagg, will need more than 4 years to fully reach his peak. That's the conundrum as the Mavericks try to balance what they are with what they want to be. On paper, the defense is terrifying, with Anthony Davis, Derek Lively II, and Daniel Gafford protecting the paint, plus a rotation full of long, switchable wings. This team could turn every possession into a nightmare for smaller, guard-heavy opponents. Add in Cooper Flagg's rapid development as both a playmaker and defender, and Dallas doesn't just look competitive, they look dangerous. But there's real risk here. The Mavs are betting big on a rookie to carry a heavy load, on a superstar who hasn't played a full season in years, and on Kyrie Irving, whose return timeline and even fit with this new style are total unknowns.
6 games in a row with 6+ made threes. Here's Irving, and he drills a three himself.
That leaves Jason Kidd in a tight spot. He has to develop Flagg while keeping the team competitive enough to win now. Too much patience, and they waste a prime year from AD. Too little, and Flagg's growth could stall before it even begins. Dallas seems less focused on dominating the regular season and more intent on building a team designed for playoff basketball. Long, physical, and versatile enough to adjust to any matchup. It's a fascinating gamble. If it works, the Mavericks could redefine what a modern contender looks like. If it doesn't, we might be watching one of the strangest, failed experiments the NBA has ever seen. Even without Kyrie Irving for the foreseeable future, the Mavericks are still much-watched TV. They're not tanking, but they're not exactly contenders either. They're stuck somewhere in between. It's either something revolutionary or completely chaotic. Buckle up, Mavs fans. The next few years could be wild, unpredictable, messy, and maybe even a little desperate. But what do you think? Are the Mavericks ahead of their time or just in over their heads? Let me know down in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, check out one of these ones coming on your screen now.